Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, 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 code. Drip, snort, snort. I got the drip. Go.
Let's talk about what happened last night. All right, so as you guys may or may not know, the latest character of Street Fighter 6 was released last Wednesday, Mai Shiranui. Now, Mai is a character from the Fatal Fury series and then the King of Fighters series. She has had many different iterations over the years and has played differently in pretty much every game, although she always has gameplay based on throwing fan projectiles and using fire or flame abilities. In Street Fighter 6 particularly, I think she's actually pretty darn good, although she's good right now because she hasn't even been in the game for a week. And I think that right now she has certain tricks and techniques that are based on using her fans, but over time, her fans are not actually going to be working that well. And the reason I say that is people are probably going to adjust to the fans and figure out ways around them. Right now, she seems pretty tricky and dominant, but I get the feeling they're going to change her. Now, the more that I'm playing, the more I'm realizing her normals are better than I thought. For example, playing last night, a lot of people were counter hitting me with her low medium punch. And if they did, they could literally press another low medium punch and then do a combo or drive rush into an extended combo. Now, I didn't know that. So that's something that I'm going to start using in my own gameplay. Also, someone started doing back heavy kick while you're getting up like as a meaty. And if you do that, you have frame advantage. So now after that, if anyone tries to do anything, you could stuff them and do a combo. So I'm learning more and more the more that I play with this character. And to be honest, at first, I didn't think she was going to be very good. But now, looking at her more and more, I actually think she's one of the best DLC characters they've added to the game, and that over time, she's going to improve better and better. And that's a good thing. Like, obviously, you want the DLC characters to be good. I'm going to be honest, I don't think Terry Bogard's very good. I think he kind of sucks ass. And for example, Aki was really bad when she first released. Now they've tweaked her enough that she's actually quite good. So anyway, I like the character. When I played with her last week, I did an entire day of casual play, and I won far more than I lost. I think by the end of the day, I had like a 65+% win ratio, which is great. I mean, for any fighting game, you can win 65% of the time. You're doing really well, right? So last night, I wanted to play with Mai again. Now, right off the bat, from the beginning of the night, it was on the table that perhaps I would do my ranked placement matches and see where I would rank in ranked play. What does that mean? Well, in Street Fighter 6, when you first start playing ranked matches, you have to play a series of 10 matches. And dependent on your performance in those matches, the game will rank you in the ranked system, okay, and allow you to be placed. And then you start there when you actually play real matches after your 10 placement matches. So you can go as low as, I think, what is the lowest rank in the game? I don't even know. It's like bronze isn't even the lowest, is it? I think there's one lower than bronze, okay? But you could be like, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and then finally master rank. Once you hit master rank, you're there forever, but you could still lose points. And then on top of that, there's new ranks. Apparently with ranked play, they've changed it, and there's even new rankings within the master ranking that you can achieve. So people were like, they wanted me to do my ranked placements. And I was like, well, let me do a couple warm-up matches. Let's see how it goes. As I start, my internet craps out. Now, what do I mean by my internet craps out? I don't mean that my internet completely went off. That's not what happened, okay? My internet dropped in quality from full green bars, me broadcasting at, say, 15,000 kilobits per second, which is what I stream at, way down to like 2,000. Then it shot back up, then it went down again. Then it shot back up, then it went down again. And we're all looking at like, what is going on with my internet right now? Why is it doing that? Now, to assuage any fears, because some people immediately run to the worst case scenario and they say, oh no, is this the same situation that happened to you 2 years ago where you had a Comcast employee who was actually messing with your modem, affecting your streams? There is a very simple answer for this. No, it was definitely not that. How do I know? Because a Comcast employee, number one, can no longer actually access my modem because I don't have a Comcast modem. I bought my own. So they don't have the ability to go in there and mess with any settings or anything, okay? The only thing a Comcast employee would be able to do is a hard reset, meaning telling my modem turn off and start up again. And that's not what was happening. This was a fluctuating reliability going like this, okay? So that has nothing to do with Comcast. Now, of course, the other thing that everyone said, oh, it must have been a DDoS attack, right? It had to have been a DDoS attack because it seemed to only happen as soon as you wanted to play the game online. No, it was not a DDoS attack. How do I know that? Because I've had DDoS attacks happen to me before. When a DDoS attack happens, which is a directed denial of service, I think is what it stands for, or something like that. What happens is they will send via a bot network of computers, they all send an insane flood of information packets through the internet to your IP address. They pound your IP address all at once, creating a bottleneck. When the bottleneck happens, your connection disconnects and shuts down. And then basically you have to completely cycle from scratch and reconnect to the internet. So you get a denial of service because you're flooded with so many packets of data. Okay? I've seen this happen before. That is not what happened last night. Because if that had happened again, my modem would have completely turned off and then cycled back up, and that didn't happen. So it's not a Comcast employee. And it's not a denial of service, okay? So what's going on? I'm going to be honest, I don't know. It lasted about 15 to 20 minutes where it just kept fluctuating like this, okay? Then it seemed to solidify. And I'm like, all right, well, since it's solidified, let's get back into it. And we played casual matches then for about another 30, 40 minutes. And the good news is I did ridiculously well with Mai in casual matches last night. Despite the fact that we started off with insane amounts of lag, all right, I did recover. And by the end of the casual matches that I had played, I had 16 wins and only 5 losses. So that's a 76% win rate in casual. I'm like, wow, all right. So here's what happened, okay? The first hour ended. And then some people started saying to me, Phil, will you now do your ranked placements? And I said, did you not see what happened at the beginning of the stream? That my internet was fluctuating badly. Now, it is true the last 30, 40 minutes, it's been fine. But what's to say that it's not going to start having these issues again if I go to do ranked? So I feel like I probably shouldn't do it tonight. But people were like, man, you've been playing with Mai now for a bit and you're doing really well. Now is the time. If you wait, you know, you might not do so well. And I said, well, you know, guys, it would be great if you could support the stream if that's what you want. You know, let's get some support going. And if we do well, maybe I'll risk it. And so it happened. People started supporting, and I was like, all right, you know what? I said if the support came in, I would do it, and the support came in. So I said, let's do it then. Let's try it. Let's do these ranked placement matches. All right. So you can see for yourself. All right. Watch the video from last night. It's the second video that I put out, which was all ranked matches. Okay. Here was my experience. Now, admittedly, while I was doing some of these matches, all of a sudden the internet crapped out again. It did. Like you could see my internet was going like this again, and it was going yellow, red, and then back to green. So one match I think was massively affected by that. All right. But the other ranked matches that I did were absolutely unacceptable in quality. Allow me to explain what I mean. I have my Street Fighter 6 set to search for 4 to 5 bar connection matches. What that means is that it's looking for almost the best quality. The sad fact is if you search for only 5 bar connections, you'll barely ever play anyone ever in Street Fighter 6 anymore. And the reason for that is because the player base for Street Fighter 6 has dwindled dramatically. When the game first came out 2 years ago, sky-high player base. But that player base is very small compared to what it once was. A lot of people fell off from playing the game. And because of that, it's harder to find people in ranked. Okay? You got to kind of settle for a 4-bar connection. If you're looking for a 5, you're almost never going to find it unless someone who lives on your street decides to boot up the game at the same time you're playing it. All right? So that's the thing, is that it all happens, all right, with every fighting game. It's just an inevitability. The player base is going to fall off, and you got to deal with the fact that your connections are going to be worse, all right? But last night, I'm playing ranked, and I'm doing my placement matches, okay? And I have it set, search for 4 to 5 bar connections. So it gave me 4 bar connections. Okay. I'm not kidding you. I wish this was an exaggeration. Every single ranked match I played last night started off good, and then halfway through the match, the connection declined or degraded. Went from 4 bars to 3 bars, in some cases 2 and 1, and then came back. Now you might say, well, it's your internet. I was checking and it wasn't. There was one case where it did happen again. My internet did mess up, okay? But that was one match. The rest of those matches, it was not my internet. It was actually the game itself. Case in point to prove this, after having played ranked for an hour, I wanted to do one final match, and I just couldn't even get a match in ranked anymore. So I went to casual play, searched, immediately found someone, full green connection, played the whole match with 0 lag. So it's the ranked. It's actually not my connection. It was ranked that was the issue. So what I think has happened here is because the player base has fallen off, now when you go to play ranked in Street Fighter 6, it's much harder to find players of your level. There just aren't as many players playing anymore. And especially now, they just reset the ranks again, I believe. So because they did, I think what's happened is it's even harder to find someone around your level because a lot of people haven't even played again to reset their rankings. So the player base being so small, now it's very hard to get a consistently good connection. But the problem with that then is that Street Fighter 6 should admit it and not lie. What do I mean by that? Why is it that when I search for a 4 to 5 bar connection, it gives me a connection that claims it is, but then as soon as the match starts, it goes down to a 3 or 2 bar connection? Isn't that a little suspect, don't you think? And isn't it weird that it never did that before, and now all of a sudden it's doing it every single match? It seems to me like what Capcom has done is they're trying to hide their problem. Instead of being transparent and saying, listen, it's just going to be a lot harder to get good ranked matches moving forward because our player base died. Instead, they're just actually showing the connection is better than it is. And I hate to say it, they do that in Call of Duty as well. It's been proven that it'll say you have a certain level of connection, but then all of a sudden the game will not be that level of connection. They're just full of shit. And they're trying to hide and mask the fact that they don't have a great connection or netcode or player base. It's nonsense. If literally the only matches in ranked are 3 bars, then it should just say that. And then I'll have to accept that if I want to play ranked, I'm going to be playing laggy matches and there's nothing I can really do. But instead, by showing every match as a 4 bar, but then as soon as I start playing, it goes down to a 3, that's bullshit. That's bait and switch. That's disingenuous, and it shouldn't be allowed. Okay? And this is a problem, not kidding. Every single ranked match that happened to me. Okay? I'm playing the match. All of a sudden, there's a giant issue where the lag hits, and now my combo drops. Oh, all of a sudden, I can't block anything. All right? Now, I played really hard in my ranked placements, okay? Admittedly, I lost to one guy legit. I lost to 2 people just because of lag, where I had matches won, but it kept dropping inputs or wouldn't block or wouldn't do anything that I was doing because of the lag, and the person got away with wins. The other times, it was very hard to win because the connection was so bad, but I got it. So I won 7 out of 10 matches, and the game placed me at 5-star diamond, the maximum level you can obtain when doing your placements. So I did the best I possibly could have with Mai, and I was pleased with that. And I said, all right, let's start doing our first several matches. And literally every match after that ended up being laggy as hell. It was ridiculous. And I was like, so let me get this straight. If I want to play this game ranked, I just have to play laggy matches from now on. I'm not going to be able to have a good match in ranked ever. I just have to accept the fact that the game will be dropping inputs, lagging up, freezing up, teleporting characters across the screen. This is just the norm now for the game, apparently. That's pathetic. If that's the case, that is absolutely unacceptable for what's supposed to be the top competitive fighter in the world, that's the experience that they're providing, okay? Now, you might say, well, what could Capcom have been doing possibly about it? Well, Capcom could have done things. They could have improved their network and their infrastructure, meaning their servers and the system that they're using for matchmaking. They could have improved it over time. They could have, instead of just saying, hey, Rollback Netcode is the best, bro, just use it for everything, they could have actually said, let's invest some research time and money into improve the netcode for fighting games. So that way, we don't have to rely on a rollback system that teleports characters all over the screen and frequently drops inputs to catch up on both sides of the equation. Because that's what rollback netcode does. For those who don't know, it uses a predictive netcode to determine what someone pushes, and then it, after the fact, fixes it. So you very well might say, oh, someone jumped, I do my anti-air Shoryuken, and then the game says, oh, no, that didn't happen, and it shows you doing a Shoryuken, then it sucks you back to the ground and says, oh, no, instead the person hit you, and then they get a combo. That's awful. That's probably the worst thing you could ever do in a competitive situation. Show you one outcome based on what you input, then take it back and say, oh, that never happened. It's the ultimate theft is what it is. Rollback netcode is atrocious. It never should have been created. The idea that you're going to predict what a competitive player is going to do is ludicrous. All right. Rollback netcode does, it hides issues with internet. It makes it look smooth when it's not. Because the other thing that they don't tell you is that rollback netcode, intentionally drops your inputs to give you a better outcome and a better visual. Meaning, you could very well be doing a combo perfectly, but the rollback netcode will say, well, we rolled the dice and decided that actually this other outcome happened instead, so fuck you, here you don't get your combo, even though you did it correctly. Hence, this is why in Street Fighter 6, there are players who are very abusive of rollback netcode, and here's what they do. Let's say, for example, you're a Zangief player, okay? What you do is you guess that the opponent will drop every single combo because of rollback netcode. And so while any opponent is hitting you with a combo, you all of a sudden start going crazy, spinning 360 and pianoing the buttons like this. Why do you do this? Because if the rollback netcode rolls the dice and says, your opponent didn't do the input, even though they did, and that combo drops, you'll instantly get a 360 and grab them. Now, you didn't earn it. You literally did nothing to earn the move, and there's no way you could have possibly known that your opponent was dropping the combo. But people have started doing these guessing game things to see what happens if someone drops a combo. For example, I was fighting a Ken, and every time that I started hitting the Ken with a combo, they would start mashing Dragon Punch input in the hopes that if I dropped my combo, they could just do a giant Dragon Punch through it. And one time, literally, it worked. Again, I didn't mistime my combo. The rollback netcode caused the mistiming by rolling the dice and saying, oh, bad luck, bro. And then it just allowed the Ken to do an EX Dragon Punch through my combo. This is why the netcode is trash, okay? So what Capcom could have done is said, we're going to stop listening to moronic, mouth-drooling idiots in the fighting game community who think that rollback netcode is a good thing, and we're going to actually work on designing better netcode. We're going to actually have, like, experts in the field of internet latency work on developing a better netcode that will then end up being the groundwork of what all competitive games should be using in the future. Then they could have patented it, they could have licensed it out, and they could have made an insane amount of money with this netcode. Instead, here we are, 20 years after GGPO was ever created. GGPO is the name of the netcode that's used in all of these games that was designed by one of the Cannon brothers. And they just say, it's good enough. Just put the same shit out there. So now that the player base has dwindled, and now that there aren't as many people playing Street Fighter 6, it's almost impossible to get a good competitive match in of ranked online because the competitive players are few and far between, and you're just going to get connections that claim they're 4-bar, but they're really 3 or 2 because they're lying. They're actually misrepresenting the connections to make you feel like they're better than they are, and that there's a bigger player base than there is. And then on top of that, rollback netcode is worse when you have these worse connections and just causes nonstop problems. Like yesterday, we had teleporting characters. We had combos constantly dropping for no good reason, despite the fact that I didn't change my inputs. It was a joke. And sadly, what ends up happening when you get bad connections with rollback netcode, button mashing wins. because you may not realize this, but rollback netcode favors repetitive inputs. Why? Because rollback netcode always assumes that you're going to keep pressing the same buttons until it finally gets the inputs, and then it'll try to rectify the situation. So literally, if you're just jabbing, just jabbing beats almost everything in rollback netcode lag, because it will give you the jabs and drop everyone else's inputs. So these players now literally just stand next to you, jab, jab, jab. Well, no, I timed something that would have stuffed the jab. Too bad, jab, 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 and the jab hits you. It's crap. You know, it's sad because I feel that Street Fighter 6 is a great competitive game, but it just can't be online because of the bad choices that Capcom made with this game. All right. Still better than Street Fighter 5. You're never going to hear me say that Street Fighter 5 was better. I'd be a blatant liar if I told you that. But Street Fighter 6 has innate problems in its design, and one of them is that they're reliant on this bullshit netcode that's not actually good, but everyone is so dumb in the FGC, they just keep believing it is. And now that these issues are happening, it's being exposed. You know, last night was just huge exposure show that their system doesn't work anymore. It was sad. Here I am playing my best, playing well, and the connections just keep fluctuating. Well, I can't make that not happen. Really, I can't. No, I didn't know that. Falcuel says, did you see your comments about modern fighting games being figured out too fast went viral in the FGC? It has had mixed reception. No, I pay no attention whatsoever. If it did get attention in the FGC, good, because they need to start talking about this shit. They really do, because this is why their games die so fast. And this is why there's no real hype around the FGC anymore like there used to be, because they literally give out the strategies 2 days in, and then there's nothing to discover anymore, and there's no fun period to play the game. It's just right to the grindstone, meta, 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 and that's not fun. You destroy the fun of a game when you expose its meta to get clickbait views. Anyway. That's funny. Falcuel, if you have any evidence of that, I'd like to see it. You know, if you have some videos or things that have gone, that people have been talking about, I would love to hear it or see it. Maybe I could talk about it on a future podcast this week. Maybe DM me on X or shoot me an email. I would love to see that, okay? But anyway, getting back to the subject at hand here, you know, it is what it is. It looks like if I'm going to play ranked, I now just have to put up with this nonsense, which is not going to be fun. I like Mai Shiranui, and I want to keep playing with this character and continue to improve with her. But if every time I play ranked, my experience is 4-bar connection that degrades to 2-bar in the middle of the match, it's not going to be fun, and it's not going to be pretty, and you're going to get a lot of rage and salt out of me, that's for sure. You know, I called it like it is. But I just find it hilarious that the moment that I left ranked and went back to casual, I had a full 4-bar green connection with 0 lag, and I destroyed the person that I play. So anyway, I don't know what happened with my internet last night. As you can see, it's not happening today. It doesn't, this issue with my internet kind of dropping out doesn't seem to be happening with day streams. It's happened a couple times recently on night streams. And I'm wondering if this is just a thing going on with Comcast internet in my area at night for some bizarre reason. I don't know. We'll see again. You know, tonight I want to play Call of Duty. We'll see if it happens with that. I'm going to be playing more Street Fighter this week. We'll see if it happens with that. Like, it's very confusing. I want to do ranked play with Mai. I would like to get Mai to master ranking, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it if the connections are bad constantly and if I keep having the internet have these fluctuations. So I guess we'll have to see what happens. Okay. All right. Well, that is my Street Fighter 6 segment. So by the way, now I'm in 4-star diamond because after I did my ranked placements, I couldn't even play a full set without insane lag and losing entire matches to the lag. It was completely stupid bullshit. I couldn't even do, people were jumping and I couldn't even do the flame flip, which I call it the dragon punch. That's all it is. It's a dragon punch. It's like a Shoryuken for that Mai has. I couldn't even get it to come out. She would do standing kick instead. Like, dude, I fucking did the input. It's the easiest input. You're out of your mind. You know, I've only been playing fighting games since the inception of Street Fighter 2 in arcades. I don't know why you think I can't do a fucking dragon punch, but the game sucks online. So what can I do? If the connection keeps fluctuating, I can't play it, right? Okay. So let's see what happens moving forward. Okay. No, I don't fundamentally misunderstand Rollback Netcode. It's that the FGC fundamentally won't accept the reality of Rollback Netcode and keeps kissing each other's ass and stroking each other's balls, saying that it's great when it's not. You can believe whatever you want because everyone is stupid and ignorant, or you can fess up to reality that it's not the perfect netcode and it has tons of issues, which you can see if you just watch things matter-of-factly instead of living in a bubble of hype and bullshit, which is what the FGC does. Okay. Yes, it's very tough to be the smartest man in the room. It really is. It really is. It's tough to be the person who literally doesn't fall for hype. Like, seriously, it's tough to be the person who talks the truth, but everyone else is, but I don't get it because everyone else disagrees with you. No, they don't disagree with me. They all just believe the people who say the bullshit because they're gullible. They don't know any better because all they've ever experienced was Rollback Netcode, and they've been told constantly that's the best. Since, they're told by the top people in the FGC and the Canon guy who designed it and the people who run Evo and these person and that person. So they all just, oh, okay, instead of actually looking with their own fucking eyes to see how bad it is. Why would you be teleporting in a fighting game? Why would you do an input and the game takes your input back and says, no, you didn't do that? That's crap. Why would you want to play a fighting game where someone who mashes jab like a retard is favored over someone who did something timed perfectly to counter it? That's bad. There's no way you can dispute this. If you have a logical brain, there is no argument that you can use to counter what I'm saying. But if you're a hype monster idiot and you believe people who don't have your best interests in mind because all they care about is getting hype on the FGC so we can boost those stream numbers and we can get those sponsorship payouts, then I can't fucking help you. You're dumb. So if you want to go through life being dumb, go ahead. I can't stop you. Or you can try using some of the few brain cells you still have in that fucking head and look at the gameplay and look at the results and say, oh, yeah, that shouldn't happen. That netcode sucks. Sorry if you're just dumb. Okay. Okay, well, moving on, we have some shout outs to do. And then we'll probably talk a little about the schedule. And then we have 2 taste tests to do today on the show before we get to Dark Souls conclusion, because we're going to finish Dark Souls today. Mayor Charlie just did a super chat, $5, says, love it when you're brutally honest. It's refreshing because so many people sugarcoat things. It's not even that so many people sugarcoat things. People just lie. People just lie to get ahead, and it's sad. When that whole word, oh, well, at least you made the bag. It's like, wait, what? I can't even believe people would say that. Oh, he made the bag. That saying is offensive to me because for me, I've never once in my life made the bag by pulling the wool over someone else's eyes or being selective with what I told someone. Or, I've always tried to be the truthful person, especially back in the day when I was in the FGC. When I had many opportunities to kiss butt and get favoritism because of it, and I never played the game, and I never kissed butt, and I also never received favoritistic treatment because of that. When there was an elite group that always did, the people who were always at the top of the FGC were the ultimate butt kissers. They, stroking the cock, licking the balls of the people in charge, and they always got rewarded for it. While I was not. I was the complete polar opposite. And that's one of the major reasons why so many people didn't like me, because I was the outspoken, brazen asshole who would always tell the truth. But, man, the truth doesn't pay. You're right. It doesn't. Why do you think here I am, 16 years into an online creation career, and I'm a small-time dude? There's a reason for it. I didn't play the game. I didn't take the sponsorship. I didn't kiss the ass. I didn't stroke the cock. I didn't do all these things that everyone else has done, become paid shill loser bitches, paid programming, advertisements. I refuse to do it. When I see something that I feel is not good, I speak out about it. And that will probably always be my shortcoming and my downfall because I can't keep my mouth shut about something when I see it, you know? But at the same time, I'm still here after 16 years, and there's probably a good reason for that, you know? So there you have it. While so many other people faded into obscurity, got canceled, or let's be honest, just became irrelevant because their bullshit just didn't last. So they just, flew away. Or they made their bag, proved that they didn't care about what the fuck they were doing to begin with, and they ran off with their money and were never seen again. You know, me, I'm always going to be a part of the game because I love it. I'm here for the long haul. Okay.
I got the drip going. 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 It's like a faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop. So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean, these dumb kids. This is what it is, it's dumb kids.